Hey, this is Sut from PriceIsKing.com. We're on April already, and this is the 7th, Tuesday the 7th of April 2020, and we're going to go ahead and talk about what is going on today, as well as what's been happening since I last posted that video about the death cross. All right, so let's take a look and see where we are with respect to the daily charts and with respect to let's start with the YM. I'm going to mostly talk about the minis, the actual minis, but in this case, it's all going to be the micros. Okay, we're trading the micros for all those traders that are into futures, yet they don't have the margin requirements that they need, especially with what's going on with all the high volatility in the markets today. All right, with that said, let's take a look at the micro Dow, and on the daily chart, we've obviously been below our RAM indicator for some time now, but remember, before I get into the whole death cross scenario and the discussion on that, let's take a look at our Fibonacci's and see exactly where we are with respect to that. Okay, so here, what is happening, right? This was the high. We went as far as 18 and change down over here. It's doing some sort of a J, kind of like a hook, right? We have this little fish hook, and you've seen a lot of people talking about this type of pattern, and this is on the daily chart. So keep in mind that this is something that happens over a few days, a couple of days, weeks, but you see this little pattern here coming up and then just splatting, and then as we see this on the Fibonacci numbers, we noticed it reached the 61.8, continued to go to the next leg up, went up as high as the 100% retracement, and then crawled back down back to the 61.8. And remember, 61.8 is pretty much key point every time you're looking at it, and it kind of held support, and now it's looking back and trying to hit the next target, which would be the 128. And we're going to see if this is resistance support in the next few days. We'll probably find that it's going to be resistant, just because of all the turmoil, the information that we get out recently from all the different news reports on the virus and the job situation, the market situation, the overall economy, right? And if things start to improve, we'll go ahead and look at the 161.8, right? And we'll see where that heads up. And if that doesn't happen, if this becomes resistance, we're looking at a leg down. And usually that's what happens when we have these type of hooks. It gives you this, leg down. It's got this little leg up, and then it'll just splat back down. Okay, so just be careful what's going on. Let's look at actually, you know what? I'm going to keep this open. I'm going to show you the next one. Let's look at the micro Emini, and I've actually set this one up already on the S&P micro, and you can see that we've crossed the 61.8, has gone as far as to the next level, and it's reaching out for the 100%, and we're still below our RAM indicator, which probably gives you more indication that there's some more pressure coming. So as long as we're below this number or indicator, and again, you see that same pattern, the hook pattern. And as you can see, when we hit this area, there's some resistance. If we see that resistance build up, we're going to see our hook do our pattern, right? So usually that's the good indication that all of this comes into play. Right? You got the 100% retracement, you got the RAM indicator, resistance in this area, and then you just may see a little bit downward pressure. And this is on the ES, the Emini micro. And let's take a look at the NQ. Similar situation, we're below the RAM indicator. Been that way for some time now. You get some sort of a J looking feature, like a hook type, uh, backwards J with the hook. Look at this right here, 61.8. It's gotten as close as possible and becoming a resistance point on the NQ. It's a good indication that, and today, this is today's, we see this pressure, resistance, bringing it back down. And next few days, we'll see whether this really truly holds as a resistance point, and there's going to be some downward pressure. So if you're a swing trader, be careful on the longs. Just keep an eye on what's going to happen, and just be very careful, okay? Especially with what's going on the market. Now, let's talk about the whole overall market in terms of what I discussed last time and the death cross. And the death cross is nothing but the 200 moving average over the 50-day moving average, right? And so the fast one, the green one, is the 50, and the slow one is the orange color. So you can put this on your chart. All right, it's just two. You can see it right here, the two EMAs, the 50 and the 200. You see this cross right here. So as long as the 50 is above the 200, you're gonna have that momentum, the upward movement. Right, as soon as it crosses below, that trend changes, and the indication is that there's downward pressure. So as long as the 50 stays below the 200. And if you want, let's just take a look at this. Remember the hook that I've been talking about? You can use this arc and kind of draw this, and you can see sort of a hook right here, right? When you see this, the idea is we're going to be seeing some downward pressure this way, okay? This is the goal right here, as to what's going to inspire, okay? So just keep an eye on this particular situation, okay? All right, so with that said, this is on the NQ, and this is on the actual NQ, not the micro, the big one. Let's take a look at the YM, the Dow, and see what's going on with the Dow. Okay. So here we had the death cross. There's, of course, there's going to be some movement to come back up, and again, you see that hook pattern forming. And you take a look at this, and even if you want to go ahead and add the extensions, you can. It'll play out differently depending on what platform you are on, whether if you're on the Thinkorswim platform or a NinjaTrader. You can see, if you add all of these things in, you have the hook looking pattern right here. You have the 50 and the 200 day creeping up. There's this 128 retracement that may be putting it up as a resistant. This may just prove to be as a support / resistance. I mean, we've broken this already, so the next leg up is this. Next few days will determine whether this becomes support, this becomes resistance, and you got this pressure up over here. This is what's happening on the Dow. Let's take a look at the ES. Oops. Remove all this in a second. Okay, got rid of all the drawings. Alright, so now we have, let's say what you want to. So what we'll do is take a look up. Let me just move this over here into the screen. So this is the Emini S&P futures. We have the death cross here. Similarly, we got the hook right around here. Oops, could just move it here. And I mean, I could have stayed in that mode, but let me just okay. So you see this hook right here. You got some pressure build up. Cross is already there. So there's a pretty much a huge gap between the 50 and the 200. So we know there's some room for this price action to stay below this and continue the downward pressure. With that said, just keep an eye on the longs. Don't be going on too many longs. Let me take a look at the extensions here. All right, so here's your 100 on the E-mini S&P 500. You get the 100 retracement right around here, which is going to probably act as a resistance. We've crossed all of these, and you can see how when we did that, we had some resistance over here at the 76.4, and then brought it back down, right, to this 38.2, and then boom. So these are ways you can actually use to kind of, put yourself in there, kind of add some sort of pointers for yourself to keep an eye on where things are headed. And again, the 50 and 200, you can add that on your chart, anywhere, any platform, to kind of get a gauge of what's happening in the overall market. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. This is what's happening today. At least with the current situation. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Make sure you want to learn all these different trading setups. Contact me on Discord. Reach out to me on Discord and get access to our RAM indicator, get the trial indicators, and feel free to reach out. PriceIsKing.com.